At the conclusion of Shogun Episode 5, a sudden and extremely violent earthquake almost claimed Lord Yoshi Toranaga's life. Shortly before the natural calamity struck, John Blackthorne told Toranaga that he wanted to move back to his homeland England and never go back to Japan. Toranaga senses something is wrong between Mariko and Blackthorne, which he hasn't yet figured out to be a covert love affair. Toranaga seems to have a sixth sense for the truth. Blackthorne is grieving the loss of his gardener Ujiro, but Toranaga doesn't seem to care about what is, in his opinion, a trivial issue. Shogun Episode 5 shows how the towns of feudal Japan were frequently impacted by natural calamities, including earthquakes, fires, and tsunamis. Blackthorne, who had never felt an earthquake before, was surprised by a small one in Shogun Episode 4, which predicted the disastrous incident in Episode 5. An increasingly strong earthquake is beyond the strength of even the tough Lord Toranaga, who commands Blackthorne, Lady Mariko, and his regiment to stay exactly where they are. Toranaga eventually becomes buried beneath rocks and soil after being drawn into the earth's fissures. Blackthorne's quick thought and swift action saved Toranaga, or else he would have died long ago. If the earthquake in Shogun Episode 5 had any deeper significance or narrative symbolism, it would undoubtedly highlight Lord Toranaga's obvious allies. This is proven by the fact that Blackthorne acted quickly to save him, even though it may have been better for him to let Toranaga die. Even if Blackthorne isn't explicitly religious, he has demonstrated a strong moral code, and he might have taken advantage of Toranaga's death. Rather, Blackthorne's prompt reply demonstrates unequivocally that he is a genuine ally of Lord Toranaga. In a previous episode of Shogun, Yoshi Nagakato's father, Lord Toranaga, instructs him to learn to rely solely on himself and to quit seeing the world in terms of friends and enemies. According to Toranaga, there are only those like as Yabushige and Ishido, who are pursuing their own agendas and will lie or use violence to protect themselves. Toranaga leaves the scene, declaring he has no time or interest for such unimportant things as Mariko and Blackthorne are discussing the gardener's death. He put himself in a dangerous situation when he turned away from Mariko and Blackthorne, one that nearly cost him his life. To safeguard his own interests, Toranaga should start using his two trusted allies more, as demonstrated by Blackthorne's valiant rescue of him and Lady Mariko's equally quick response. The two characters appear to be the only ones who aren't outright taking advantage of him or attempting to deceive him for their own gain. This is primarily due to the fact that Toranaga has generously granted Mariko and Blackthorne exceptional status, for which they are both grateful. The earthquake, however, demonstrates Toranaga's ability to see above their disadvantages and inform them of his larger scheme to confront the Council of Regents. Toranaga has varied degrees of faith in those around him and has kept his goals under wraps. But none of these connections are solid or obvious enough for Toranaga to start showing off his master hand. It is evident from the unexpected conclusion of Shogun Episode 4 that Toranaga and his son do not even agree. Toranaga was right to choose to trust no one but himself before the earthquake. Toranaga may discover he has two friends after all now that Blackthorne and Mariko have shown they are prepared to defend and battle for him, particularly with Blackthorne's gesture of offering him his swords. Blackthorne kindly provides Toranaga the swords that his consort Usami Fuji had given him when Blackthorne and Lady Mariko save him. Blackthorne is beginning to become acclimated to the symbolic rites that permeate every aspect of feudal Japanese society, and he feels that it is proper to show respect for a Hatamoto by freely presenting the swords to Toranaga. The laugh of Toranaga, who is probably still in shock over the earthquake and being buried alive, is full of subconscious feelings and ideas. The gesture makes Toranaga giggle since Blackthorne and Mariko have proven him wrong in his long-held belief that he has no true pals in Shogun.